Okay, one of the little logical puzzles that I've been subjected to in all of this is, Jones, you have said, when I said that the law of non-contradiction doesn't apply in some frames, you said, well, listen, if it doesn't apply in some places, then either that line where it stops applying is sharp or it's blurry. And if it's sharp, then there you have your absolute. And I'll stop you right there, because no. In one reference frame, it could have a sharp place where it starts to apply. That's not absolute yet, because that's within a particular reference frame. In another reference frame, you can have a sharp line where it doesn't apply, but it'll be a different place. And I'll give you a mathematical example. In coordinate systems, there's infinite number of coordinate systems. There's infinite number even of Cartesian coordinate systems, because I can put the origin point wherever I want. But beyond that, there's also different kinds of coordinate systems. There's Cartesian, radial, hyperbolic. There's all kinds of coordinate systems. The equation for a circle in radial coordinate systems, very specific. Say the radius of the circle is 5. Then the equation is going to be r equals 5. There you have it. That's a very sharp definition. In a Cartesian coordinate system, which is a different frame of reference, the equation for a circle is x squared plus y squared equals 25. That's not the same thing as r equals 5. I'm sorry, that's different. The notion of squaring numbers, the notion of multiplication, it doesn't even appear in r equals 5. There is no notion of multiplication, let alone exponentials. Those are two very sharp. They're both absolutely correct within their frame of reference, but they're not absolute, because absolute means it works in all frames of reference. Nothing works in all frames of reference. You have to make your statements with respect to a particular frame of reference. The law of non-contradiction applies in a logical frame of reference. It applies to anything that you can make logical. And your idea, obviously, here is that you can make everything logical. Well, good luck with that. I don't think that's going to ever happen. I think you can make things more logical, but every time you do, you get down to something else that can't be explained with logic. And you use the law of non-contradiction not as a law that always applies, but as something you want to be able to apply. So you keep working on the definitions so that it can apply. And it's not clear, first of all, that that would ever be a finished process. I don't think that it would. But even if it were to finish, then you still have to explain why your logic doesn't already apply. I mean, if it's a universal law, the law of gravity, it already applies where the law of gravity applies, okay? It already, you don't have to make it apply. We don't call it a law of physics because you have to make it apply. And before you try to say, oh, well, then gravity is absolute. No, I don't know that gravity is absolute. For example, in the Big Bang the other day, and he was pointing out a weird thing about the Big Bang, which is that if all the matter's in one place in a singularity, it's all below the Schwarzschild radius of the black hole, and it shouldn't be able to expand, and yet it did expand. And probably this is because as space unfolds, the law of gravity was unfolding and was different. You know, in that kind of rapidly expanding universe, there's something fundamentally different, so that the law of gravity would be different. So the law of gravity as we know it would not apply in that situation, and therefore our understanding of the law of gravity is not absolute.